right, good evening, everyone. This is Wednesday, January 21st. It is 7:04 Eastern Time. Sorry, 7:04 Central Time, 8:04 Eastern Time. Hard to keep up with the time and day this week, as busy as we've been. This is day three of our live update coverage here in the evening hours. Going to get you guys caught up with all the latest information. We're going to start here with the winter storm watch that we talked about yesterday. I specifically stated that I thought the National Weather Service would pull the trigger on this today and go ahead and issue that winter storm watch 72 hours in advance. Typically, the National Weather Service only issues winter storm watches around 48 hours in advance. This time they are very confident, and so are we, that we are going to see a significant winter storm this weekend. So the National Weather Service pulled the trigger on this winter storm watch 72 hours in advance. So that is a big deal. So the entire state of Kentucky is under a winter storm watch. The entire state of Tennessee is also included with that winter storm watch. This is going to go until 1 a.m. Saturdays when it officially goes into effect, and it expires 7 a.m. Monday. So it's a long duration event. We are expected to see widespread snowfall across the watch area. We're looking right now anywhere between 50 to 70% chance of snow accumulations greater than 8 inches. We'll get into those probabilities here in just a second. We're also going to be looking at some significant sleet and ice accumulations across the southern part of the state. Even parts of the central part of the state, including on some of the latest models that have came in this afternoon. There is an increased chance for some ice, and that's something we've talked about this week. If that storm happened to creep just a little bit more to the north, if that high pressure was a little bit weaker, we would see the storm creep up to the north. We would see our snowfall accumulations lowered, but our ice accumulations increase. We're going to go over all that data here in just a second. Still lots of uncertainty with the track nonetheless, but regardless, we are under that winter storm watch for a significant winter storm this weekend. I do have my handy dandy notepad again tonight. Helps me stay on track. That way I highlight all the information that needs to be highlighted. Again, same key principles that we've been talking about. We're high confidence in a winter storm Saturday through Sunday. Primary impact is going to be accumulating snowfall. Secondary risk is going to be that wintry mix with some ice. We'll look at all that information here in a minute. I don't want anybody to, not look at the ice, the potential ice storm in places on top of the snow. It's going to be a dual threat here. It's not just the snow. Some locations will just see snow, but some locations will see snow, sleet, freezing rain. It's going to be multiple threats here. One thing I'm specifically going to talk about, I'm going to make sure this is an emphasis on tonight's video, the very cold Arctic air expected through the weekend into next week. I want to go over all that. I want you guys to understand how cold we're going to get, and anything that falls this weekend is going to be sticking around for a little while. Again, we're still uncertain with the track. Depending on the track of the storm and how the storm evolves, that's going to affect snowfall amounts, precipitation types, how long we see snow in a particular location, how long we see freezing rain in a particular location. All that's going to impact amounts. That's going to change 1,000 times between now and Friday. We're starting to narrow it down a little bit, but there still will be changes tonight, tomorrow, even all the way throughout midday, even late day on Friday, okay? So let's look at the probabilities before I show you guys the model data for tonight. Now, these are graphics from the National Weather Service in Louisville, and they issued these graphics earlier this afternoon. So what you're looking at here, this is a probability of exceeding 8 inches of snow. Now, I had somebody ask me earlier, what's all these different colors mean, or how many inches is these different colors? This is not an accumulation map. This just shows a percentage that a particular location has of exceeding 8 inches of snow. So for much of central Kentucky, your Bowling Green over to Somerset, Campbellsville, Elizabethtown, up to Louisville, all the way up to Cincinnati, Lexington's included, Richmond's included, a 60 to 70% chance of those locations exceeding 8 inches of snow. Okay, Outside of that, say your south central Kentucky area right along the Tennessee border, all the way up to Hazard, Pikeville, Madisonville, Owensboro, you have about a 50% chance of exceeding 8 inches of snow. Now, this is the graphic I put on my Facebook page earlier. This is the probability that the National Weather Service has of exceeding 12 inches of snow. So this means getting more than a foot of snow. The National Weather Service has labeled the Green Taylor County surrounding area, Campbellsville, Greensburg, Campbellsville, Lebanon, Springfield, Bardstown, all the way up to Lexington, Richmond type areas. Danville would be included in this. Liberty, 50% chance of exceeding 12 inches of snow. Now, hear me out. This will change. I'm not saying this is set in stone. These are probabilities that the National Weather Service has put out there today, and it's a pretty good indication that we are becoming more confident that a lot of Kentucky is going to see a big snowfall from this system. Okay, so that's the latest probabilities. Again, it just gives you guys an idea how our confidence has increased. So we're going to get into the model data now. And I'm not going to spend super long going over all of the data, looking at it, every single, computer model that we have. We're going to go over the main ones. I don't want to drag you guys down with loads of information tonight, okay? I kind of want to get to the point, let you guys see the different scenarios and kind of what I'm thinking. This is the European model. This is probably the most accurate model that we have for this range. It's done very, very well so far. So this is Saturday at noon. A lot of people's been asking what time is this storm going to start. We don't know just yet. Okay. We are thinking sometime Saturday morning, say from 9 a.m. to Saturday afternoon around 3 p.m. That kind of gives you a 6-hour window. Saturday 9 a.m. to Saturday 3 p.m. depending on how fast this moves in. This is Saturday at noon compared to the European model. As you can see, a lot of central Kentucky not really seeing anything go on. So Saturday up until noon, nothing really going on. We're pretty good shape. As we progress into the 3 o'clock hour, that's when it all starts to go downhill. You can see we break out as snow across pretty much all of Kentucky. You get a little bit further to the south. You get a full-blown ice storm down here in Tennessee, western Tennessee, middle Tennessee. From Nashville, just north of Jackson, you get into the sleet storm. The purple is sleet, okay? And then as we progress, this is 6 p.m. Saturday evening. This is 7 p.m. We get that warmer air that moves up. So central Kentucky looking at heavy snow. South central Kentucky looking at a changeover into sleet. So when we change over into sleet, that's when your snowfall accumulations is going to tick down a little bit because you're not getting that true snow, you're getting sleet. It really eats away at your snowfall accumulations. Just to the south of that, pretty much all of Tennessee is in that ice storm, with the exception of the southeastern side of Tennessee. This is 9 p.m. Saturday evening. 10 p.m. that warmer air makes it just a little bit more to the north. Now we're into the ice zone. So we're going to start out as snow here in central Kentucky, and then we could change over to some sleet and then over to some freezing rain. Now this is going to be a big deal because this freezing rain is going to cause problems if it makes it this far north. I'm not saying it's going to make it, all the way up into central Kentucky. The European model is showing that it's going to. This is 12 a.m. on Sunday. We stay freezing rain until 3 a.m. on Sunday. We stay freezing rain until 6 a.m. on Sunday. We stay freezing rain until 9 a.m. on Sunday. That's a long duration of freezing rain. That will cause a lot of problems. We finally transition back over Sunday around 12 p.m. back over to some snow. Looks like we could even see a deformation band of snow as that moves out. But that's definitely not what we want to see. We don't want to see a heavy snow to a freezing rain type setup. Here is what the Europeans showing on the snowfall accumulation map. Now again, the ratios are going to probably be a little bit higher. Nonetheless, we're still looking at 6 to 12 inches across much of central Kentucky. And then you get up here right along the Bluegrass Western Kentucky Parkways into the north, where those areas do not change over to freezing rain. they get the absolute bomb dropped on them, anywhere between 15 to 20 inches of snow easily, because they're not going to transition over to freezing rain. That is what the key factor with this storm is going to be. Who changes over to freezing rain? Who changes over to sleet? Who stays all snow? If you stay all snow, you can almost guarantee you're going to get over a foot of snow easily. No questions asked. If you change over to freezing rain, if you change over to sleet, those snowfall amounts are going to be down. That's why a lot of areas have not put a forecast out yet, a snowfall accumulation forecast, because we just don't know who's going to change over to freezing rain, who's going to stay snow, who's going to change over to some sleet. That is the big question marks. We're not going to avoid this storm. I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, it's just going to be all rain. It's going to move north. We are not, I'm going to repeat this to you guys. We are not going to miss this storm. I guarantee you, guaranteed, we're not going to miss this storm. It's coming. We're going to get hit with it one way or the other, whether it's going to be extremely heavy snow, whether it's going to be some snow over and some sleet, whether it's going to be an ice storm in the south. It doesn't matter. Combination of all three. You're going to get hit with this storm. Nobody's going to avoid it in Kentucky. We need to prepare for this immediately. This is the European model. Here is the European model with ice. Again, where pretty much right along the Western Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways and to the south where those areas transition over to freezing rain. Again, this is not what I'm forecasting. I'm just simply showing you guys what the European model is showing. It's showing anywhere between a ½ inch, maybe even up to 3/4 of an inch in places across the southern 2/3 of Kentucky. We do not want to get into this mess. That sounds horrible. Nobody wants ice. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, we've been lucky so far with the models. It's kept it south of Kentucky. It's moved it north. So, I don't wish this ice storm on anybody, but we definitely want to see this for Kentucky's sake. We definitely want to see this shifted to the south. Okay. Now, GFS model. I'm going to run through it real quick. I'm not going to bog you guys down with data all night. GFS model is a little bit better scenario for Kentucky. Let me back it up here. Make sure I got the right thing. Yeah. Okay. Maybe. Okay. This is 6 a.m. on Saturday. So the GFS kind of has this system coming in about 3 to 6 hours earlier. This is 9 a.m. Saturday morning. 9 a.m. Saturday morning, the GFS has snow all across Kentucky. We stay snow. This is Saturday 3 p.m. This is Saturday 6 p.m. Saturday 9 p.m. Then we kind of get that second wave of precipitation. This is Sunday 12 a.m. Sunday 3 a.m. You see how the snow, the sleet and the freezing rain is really staying to our south. 6 a.m. Sunday, 9 a.m. Sunday, 12, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. Moving out Sunday night, the GFS sticks all of Kentucky in the all snow scenario, and this is the result you're going to get if we stay all snow. Again, same thing I was telling you guys. If we stay all snow, we're going to get over a foot of snow easy, no questions asked. This is easily, again, and the ratios are going to be higher. So even though the GFS model is saying 15 to 21 inches, they're going to be higher than that because the ratios are going to be higher. In this type scenario, you could easily say 18 to 23 inches. Not saying that's going to happen. I think that's a far-fetched idea, but it's been showing up for a couple days now. How can you throw data in the trash that's been showing up consistently days over days over days? It's not just the GFS. It's the European. It's the Canadian. All these models are showing the same thing. This is not an outlier. Now, this particular model might be an outlier because it's the more south of the other two. Canadian is something similar. Here's the GFS ice. Again, really don't even touch Kentucky with the ice. It all stays to our south. Here's the National Weather Service blend. It kind of blends all of this data together and kind of gives you an idea. And this is kind of what the National Weather Service is going off of. If you look similar, this is what the National Weather Service is showing for probabilities over a foot. If you look at the National Weather Service blend, where it's 50% on this map, is where you kind of get the 12-inch marks on the National Weather Service blend. So that's where the National Weather Service is getting those probabilities. They're getting it from their National Weather Service blend. So with all the data kind of, blended in together, we're looking at, and this is total snowfall. Again, ratios are going to be higher. I mean, pretty much a foot for the whole state is what the National Weather Service blend of models is showing. And then if you look at the ice, the ice amounts have come up since yesterday on the blend, but still has the higher totals to the south, down there in Tennessee, western Tennessee, especially the southern part, middle Tennessee. And then the higher ice totals here in Kentucky is definitely right along the Cumberland Parkway and to the south, maybe up to a tenth, 2/10 of an inch of ice, but we're going to keep an eye on that. So, that's all the model data I have for you guys. It's, that's the gist of it right there. But again, the number one thing I want to show you guys here on the European model, let me get it pulled up here. So this is the European model. And again, this is where the higher snowfall rates are going to be falling. It's going to be right along the West Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways and to the north. This area I have circled here, this area shows smaller snowfall totals because there's going to be freezing rain and sleet mixed in. So you basically cut your totals in half because you're going to see freezing rain and sleet. If you don't see freezing rain and sleet, 6 times 2 is 12. That's pretty much going to match up with the rest of the snowfall map, okay? That's going to be the key factor with this storm. How long do we see freezing rain? How long do we see sleet? How far north does that freezing rain and sleet make it? If it does not make it this far north, our snowfall totals are going to be a lot higher, okay? That's what we're watching. How far does that warm nose make it up into Kentucky? And we're simply not going to know that until we get just a little bit closer. Nonetheless, you're looking at, again, 6 to 9 inches of snow with almost a half inch of ice. That's extremely dangerous and a very historical winter storm. So even with the snowfall totals taken in half, you're going to increase your ice totals. It's going to be a very dangerous situation. So that's what I'm trying to emphasize to you guys. You're going to be seeing the snowfall maps. They're probably going to come out as early as tomorrow morning. You're probably going to look at your area and be like, oh man, there's a possibility you'll look at your area and be like, man, I don't have the higher snowfall totals. Areas to our north is getting 8 inches more. Well, they're also not getting a half inch of ice. So something to keep in mind when we're looking at these accumulation maps. You got to look at the snow as well. Okay. Big thing that I want to emphasize tonight is temperatures. This is a graph that I created. I know it's very, very bland. But the blue line is high temperatures. The orange line is the low temperatures. I know the colors are not, you're not supposed to have orange for low temperatures. I was in a hurry. I had a time budget. So excuse me for this not being correct. But Saturday, high temperature. I had a little graphic here. Yeah. Saturday, high temperature, right around 20. Saturday night, 15 degrees. Sunday, high temperature, 24. Low temperature, 3. Monday, which is the middle part of this graph, high temperature, 18. Low temperature, -4. That's not wind chill. That's actual temperature. So we're going negative Monday night, which is absolutely ridiculous. Everything, if there's any type of melting from the sun coming out, it's going to refreeze. But anything that falls on Saturday and Sunday is not going to melt for the foreseeable future. Tuesday, high of 25, low of 10 Tuesday night. Wednesday, high temperature of 30, low temperature right around 10 degrees as well. And that's just through Wednesday. I don't think we go above freezing on Thursday. I don't think we go above freezing on Friday. And I don't think we go above freezing on Saturday. I don't know when we go above freezing again. I really don't. And who knows what kind of systems we come in next week. I don't know. I haven't looked that far. So I want everybody to realize anything that falls, it's not going to melt off. It's going to be here for a few days. So this is why it's important to prepare for this winter storm. Use tomorrow and Friday to prepare. Go to the grocery. I know everybody bombards the grocery store. I've already seen that the pictures, the people talking about it, that the grocery stores are like an absolute war zone this afternoon. They're going to be worse tomorrow. They're going to be worse on Friday. Get your stuff that you need, because once this gets here, there's a good chance, there's a realistic chance that you might be legitimately snowed in for several days. As far as school situations next week, I know people's going to ask me. I would just prepare to be out the whole entire week. I'd just go ahead and mark it down. Me personally, I think it's going to be hard for there to be any school next week, especially with all the side roads that we have. It's going to be hard to get them all clear. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. So, for sure, I wouldn't bank on any school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I just wouldn't. I don't see any way that school's in session Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's just my personal opinion. We'll see how it all plays out. Superintendents will obviously make the best decision for their schools. They'll be watching things closely, but it's just very hard for me to see any type of schools in session next week, especially the first 3 days of the week. Here is the Winter Storm Severity Index. I've showed this a couple times this week. And again, I'm going to read the definition again. The Winter Storm Severity Index is a tool designed to forecast and communicate the potential societal impacts of a winter storm rather than just meteorological measurements like total snow inches. It kind of throws everything together and gives an index. So that's snow amount, which is based on total snow amount and snowfall rates, how fast the snow's coming down. Snow load, which means potential for damage to trees and power lines due to the weight of the snow. Ice accumulation, flash freezing, blowing snow, and a ground blizzard. It puts all this together and basically generates a number, a percentage as far as minor, moderate, major, or extreme impacts. So here, I'm going to show you guys the minor impacts. 100% or greater than 95. Greater than 95% chance of at least minor winter storm impacts. Moderate, pretty much the same thing. Around 95% chance of at least moderate impacts, moderate winter storm impacts. Here is the major. The National Weather Service is saying around a 60% chance, 50 to 60% chance as of now. This will go up. Of major winter storm impacts. And extreme, there's some blue, which is about a 5% chance. And as you can see, they're around big cities: Bowling Green, Somerset, Richmond, Lexington, Elizabethtown, Louisville. There's at least a 5% chance of extreme impacts, extreme winter storm impacts, which means substantial disruptions to daily life, extremely dangerous or impossible driving conditions. Travel will not be advised. Extensive and widespread closures and disruption to infrastructure may occur, and life-saving actions may be needed. That's what the extreme. The major impacts, which is what pretty much all of Kentucky will probably see an 80 to 90% chance, if not greater, winter storm or the chance to see major winter storm impacts. You can expect considerable disruptions to daily life. Dangerous or impossible driving conditions. Avoid travel if possible. Widespread closures and disruptions to infrastructure is possible. So that is something that will increase as we progress a little bit closer. One more thing is the preparedness. We want everybody to be prepared, especially with us basically having 2 more days to prepare. So the number one thing is supplies. You want to have water, 1 gallon per person per day. And when you're out in the grocery stores, you see people out shopping, you see a lot of water, Gatorade. That's good. You want to have that stuff. So basically 1 gallon per person per day. Non-perishable foods, meds, flashlight, batteries, radio. Prepare to lose power. Especially if we're going to be looking at an ice storm situation. Inside your home, which should be the top right box here. You want to insulate those pipes and windows. Go ahead and prepare for that because, again, we're going to get cold. Test your smoke detectors. Test your CO2 detectors. Make sure they're working and ready to rock. Ensure safe heating. Never use generators indoors. Definitely don't want to do that. As far as your vehicle, which is the bottom left box here, you want to have a full gas tank, a winter kit. I know there's going to be people that has to travel. There's essential jobs out there, completely understand that. Make sure you have a full gas tank. Make sure you have your winter kit, which is blankets. Mom and Dad always taught me this, even when it was snowing 4 or 5 inches growing up. Keep blankets in your cars, shovel, traction aid, charger, snacks. That way, if you do get stranded, you have food there. You got a way to keep warm. You got a shovel to kind of shovel your way out. I've been in a couple situations over the years where I've gotten stuck. I've had a shovel in my car. I've had to shovel my way out to kind of get a little traction. If I didn't have a shovel, I'd be in, a lot of trouble. So that's just something to keep in mind for your vehicle. Then as far as safety, prevent carbon monoxide poisoning, keep vents clear, and fuel burning devices outside. Then weather alerts down here at the bottom. We're not going to have to worry about the advisory because we're probably not going to be looking at any type of advisories unless it's a cold weather advisory after the storm's over. But a watch means a winter storm is possible. That's 36 to 48 hours. Again, that's something I just talked about at the beginning of the video. The National Weather Service has pulled the trigger on this. 72 hours. Gives everybody an extra day to prepare. The warning means severe winter storm conditions, and that's typically about 24 hours out. They could issue that a little bit earlier. I'm not sure. Make sure you charge all your devices, your phones, tablets, whatever you're using. Keep them on full charge. That way, if you do lose power, they're fully charged and ready to rock. Plan for power outages. I'm not saying there's going to be any, but I would say there's probably going to be some, especially if we see an ice storm situation. And make sure you're checking on others. That's the big thing. Check on your neighbors. Check on the elderly. Check on your family, friends. Make sure they're ready for the winter storm. Make sure you're doing everything you can to help them. Just be a good Samaritan. If they need help with something, let's help them. If you can't help them with the situation, or reach out to me. We'll figure out a way to help whoever we need to help. If there's legitimately somebody that has an issue or needs help preparing for the winter storm, reach out to me. We'll figure out a way to get it done. Check on your pets too. Anything outside. I don't have this up here, but if you got dogs outside, pets outside, cattle, whatever it may be, make sure they're ready to go for this winter storm. Bring them indoors if possible. Or if not, make sure they got plenty of blankets, hay, whatever you need to do. Make sure their water's not going to be frozen, anything like that. So it's just a couple of things that I can just think of right off the top of my head that I can throw to you guys. So with that being said, I'm going to go back up here. We're going to put the winter storm watch back up again. The whole state of Kentucky and Tennessee is in that winter storm watch. I am going to go through here real quick and see if there's any comments that I need to look at. Jennifer, yes, have power banks charged as well. If you have power banks that you can plug devices up into, make sure they're charged as well. Blow torches, another good tool to have, Blake. Have your blow torches ready. They sell the little portable propane tanks at Walmart, and the heads you put on them for blow torch. That's also a really good tool to have. Yes, Kelly, that's 100%. Let's go ahead and give a thank you to all the essential workers, the road crews that's going to be going nonstop, emergency management, rescue squads, anybody that's going to be preparing for this winter storm. Let's go ahead and give them a shout out because they're going to be working very hard. Like I've told you guys before, I'm just a talking head. I just sit here and talk and give you guys the information. I don't do anything other than analyze the data and then process that data and give it to you guys. That's all I do. The real heroes is out there doing the work, doing the Lord's work. They're out there clearing roads. They're making plans to make sure everybody's safe. They're in the hospitals. They're in the police departments. They're in the dispatch centers. Those are the real heroes, not me. So those are the guys and girls that you need to be keeping in your thoughts and prayers. They're going to be keeping everybody safe. So shout out to you guys and gals. Scrolling up here, I'm just looking to see if there's anything I need to highlight. Tammy, I think I've heard that, Tammy. I think Jim Cantori is heading to Nashville for this winter storm, so he's going to be pretty close. Tammy said she was at Kroger today, not out of anything, but it was crazy busy, but they had plenty of everything. I will touch on that too. I know Walmart's and Kroger's this week, pretty much right out of the gate on Monday. They knew it was coming. They knew to order more product. They knew to be ready for it. The stores are more prepared for this storm than they have been for any others. Some of the other storms, they kind of got caught off guard. This storm, they will not be caught off guard. If they run out of stuff, it's really because they got bombarded. I will say that. Thank you, Tammy, for that comment. Darnell, what if you don't have backup heat? Then what do you do? I mean, I guess the best thing to do is just make sure you got plenty of blankets. I know for me, I've got an extra propane heater with some propane tanks that if I happen to lose power, we can use that. That's something that's on my to-do list, is to refill my propane tanks. But if you don't have backup heat and you lose power, that's really the only thing you can do is just bundle up. Maybe go to a neighbor's house or something that lives close by. Maybe they have some backup heat. That's an option. Maybe talk to your neighbors with that. Looking through the comments, not ignoring anybody. I'll have plenty of skis this week. Just FYI on that as well. All right, we'll scroll back down to the bottom. I'm not going to scroll through all this. There's no telling how many comments I have. I do appreciate all you guys tuning in. Yes. Let's see here. Where did that comment go? Yes, Nikki. Yes, 100%. If you decide to go outside and play in the snow, don't forget to keep an eye out for cold weather injuries like hypothermia and frostbite. So if you're going out to play in the snow, when it gets here, just be sure to pay attention. Don't be out there too long because it is going to be cold. No, we're not expecting any snow tonight. Suzanne, next live will be around the same time tomorrow. We're going to be rolling lives tomorrow and Friday, and Saturday we'll do 1,000 lives on Saturday and Sunday. But tomorrow we're looking at the same thing, same time. We're going to do a Twitter Spaces again tonight. I have not got a update on what time. Let me see if we've got one here. Nine Central Time, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. We're going to do a Twitter Spaces with the ZMC team. If you guys jumped in yesterday, there were several people on it. It was a very, very good discussion. Basically what it is, it's basically a conference call with the ZMC team. We've got Mike, we've got Heather, we've got Grayson, Chris, and myself. We all kind of do a roundtable, and we get a little more technical with the setup. The new data is going to be starting to roll in here within the next couple hours. We're going to be talking about the newest data. It's kind of a conference call. People basically join in, they listen. If you have questions or want to talk at the end, you can request to speak. We let people speak. We answer their questions. We talk to them. It's pretty much a community conference call. I will post my Twitter info on my page again right before we do that. But that's going to be 9 Central. I personally invite all you guys to tune in, check us out, have a listen, and if you got any questions or just want to cut up and talk with us, you can request to talk, and we'll approve that and let you guys chat with us. I think we talked on Twitter Spaces last night for at least an hour, if not an hour and a half. It was pretty late. So the last 2 nights, that's all I've done is talk. So I love it. So you guys, please join in and talk to us. Please join in and talk to us. I've had a couple people ask me this too. Will wet roads tonight make driving hard tomorrow? I don't think so. I do want to look at the temperature for tonight. Yeah, low of 28 tomorrow. I mean, there's going to be some areas of black ice. You guys know how Kentucky is. Anytime that it rains and it drops below freezing, there'll be areas of black ice, but we will not be dealing with anything like we dealt with this morning, I'll tell you that. So there'll just be isolated patches of black ice. Just use caution as you're out and about tomorrow morning. If you see something that looks wet, assume it's not. Assume it's just ice. Just slow down. Use extra caution. You'll be fine, but I don't see any major issues in the morning. Again, I'm seeing a lot of people ask about snow totals. And again, I'll show you guys this right here. This is from the European model. The biggest question, and this is what we're trying to figure out. Okay, so I want everybody to really listen to what I'm saying here, because this is how we're going to determine this forecast. And we don't know just yet. We're getting closer to having a better solution, but we just don't know yet. This area I have circled here in the black, this area is expected to see at least some duration of sleet and or freezing rain. Okay? Depending on how long, or if at all, these locations, any location in this circle, goes over to freezing rain or sleet, will determine how much snow you have. If you stay freezing rain, sleet longer, your snow totals are going to go down. If you stay freezing rain or sleet a shorter amount of time, your snow totals will be higher. If you don't see freezing rain or sleet at all, then you're going to see something closer to what you're seeing up here right along the West Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways and to the north between Elizabethtown and Louisville. If you do not change over to freezing rain or sleet, your snow totals is going to be over a foot easy. We do not know yet. We do not know how farther north, how much north. That's not even. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. We don't know how far north this freezing rain and sleet makes it. We don't know how far this warm air makes it up into central Kentucky. Some models are showing it doesn't make it up here at all. We stay all snow. Some models are like the European and brings it, all the way up to the parkways. I'm using the European because it's been more accurate. So we're going to pay attention to this. Okay, we just simply don't know yet. But that's going to determine your snowfall amounts. Okay, I know that doesn't really answer anything, but it's going to be a big deal regardless. Michelle, I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think this compares to the ice storm of 08. Now, Tennessee might get close to it. Denise, we do not know exactly what time it's going to start. We're thinking anywhere between 9 a.m. on Saturday to 3 p.m. on Saturday. 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday is somewhere in that time is kind of when we're looking for this to start. The roads will not freeze tonight other than just some isolated areas of black ice. Scroll all the way down here. Okay. With that being said, that's all I have for you guys today. Again, this winter storm watch in effect for the whole state. Significant major winter storm, possibly even historic winter storm, depending on how it all evolves. Still on track. Obviously, same thing I tell you guys every night. When the model data start coming in, newest model, I got to slow down. I'm getting too excited. When the newest model data begins to roll in later on this evening, or I guess I should say later on tonight. It's already the evening. I'll post updates for you guys. Jump on Twitter Spaces, X, whatever you want to call it, will be on. You can go to my page and just click on it. Will be on there at 9 p.m., so about an hour and 15 minutes. Jump in. You can hear what we're talking about. You can jump in and talk with us if you want to. But if you don't want to jump in, that's fine. I'll post any updates from the data tonight on my page. I'll have a fresh update in the morning. We're obviously, me and the team's watching everything closely. So you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll do a live around the same time tomorrow. Again, same thing. I'll give you guys the update on that on my Facebook page. But I do appreciate all you guys tuning in. Appreciate all the support and love. And please, please, please use tomorrow and Friday to prepare for this major winter storm. I cannot stress that enough. So if you guys need help with anything, send me a message. We'll make sure that we figure out a way to get you taken care of. I'd rather you guys, whatever I've got to do, whether it's me finding somebody else to help out or me doing it myself, we want everybody to be prepared for this winter storm. So you guys just let me know. We'll get it done. Till then, you guys enjoy your Wednesday evening and prepare, and we will keep you updated. Thank you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.